Hello and welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. First to 4, I'm Jane McCarthy.
And I'm Mark Hanrahan. Tom is off this week. Well, we saw some snow overnight, but it didn't last long. And tonight we're tracking another concern, and that is freezing fog.
Yikes. Meteorologist Thomas Patrick in the Weather Center now tracking the latest round of weather. Thomas?
Yeah, Jane and Mark, freezing fog is kind of the main weather story for the next couple days here. And really, it's a result of things being a little bit warmer than it has recently. Let me tell you why. Today's high temperatures above freezing. That sounds like a lot of great news. It feels like we're getting just a little closer to spring. 37 today in Spokane. However, a lot of that snow, especially that you see on the ground, is starting to melt away little by little, even at Lookout Pass. I know that median barrier had a lot more snow on it in some previous weeks. So slowly but surely, it is trying to melt away. But we did get a little bit of snow last night. Even Sherman Pass still has some of that snow still on the roads as we take some of those live looks outside. But here's the thing. We were above freezing today. We're well below later on tonight. So all that melted snow that's pushing some water back on the roads is refreezing, and it's also adding some more moisture into the atmosphere. So that'll materialize mainly as fog and freezing fog. So black ice will still be a lingering concern for drivers in the coming mornings, even though most of the precipitation is finished, but not all. I'll let you know when you can still expect a little more snow in the forecast coming up in a few minutes.
Look at what I just came home to.
Well,
y'all are awesome. I love you.
That is a PhD candidate at Washington State University. She came home to these about 20 boxes from Amazon right on her doorstep. It's pretty cool. They're actually food donations for the food bank she has for WSU students. It's right outside her office.
Yes, she recently posted on social media asking people if they could donate to the food bank, and she was overwhelmed by the response.
KREM 2's Amanda Rowley talked with her today and shares her story.
So I asked my Facebook and Twitter friends for donations for my little mini food bank for my students. And look at this. Look at what I just came home to. Y'all are awesome. I love you.
Amy Newsbaum is a PhD candidate at WSU. She learned from a recent study a significant amount of college students don't get enough to eat. That's why she set up a mini food bank outside her office at the end of last semester.
This is a thing that I can do right now that'll help the students that I have right now. And it doesn't need to be like a huge thing. It's a mailbox outside of my office that for most of the last few months I've just been buying stuff as it runs out.
She started to run out again, but before she made another order to Amazon, she thought this could be an opportunity for others to contribute as well.
I interact with a lot of people on social media who are interested in these things and maybe don't know how to help. And the cougar community is just so incredible.
She posted a link to her Amazon wish list inviting others to add to her food bank. And just a few days later, she came home to about 20 Amazon boxes on her doorstep.
And I was just flabbergasted. I pulled up and just sat in my car for 3 whole minutes just staring at it.
WSU does have multiple student food banks on campus. Amy says those are valuable resources and doesn't want to take away from them. She figures her food bank can be a convenient spot for students to swing by between classes.
If I can get students who are just sort of going about their day-to-day life, realize that they, can't buy lunch or just even forgot to pack a lunch.
There are still more boxes being delivered, and Amy hopes any student, even grad students, will take advantage of her mini food bank or others on campus.
Y'all are awesome. I love you.
Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Love that. Very
good
cool.
stuff.
Also, yesterday we told you that for the first time in history, an all-female crew is scheduled to conduct a spacewalk outside the International Space Station. That includes a Spokane native. That mission is set to take place March 29th, which is actually the last week of Women's History Month.
So NASA astronaut Anne McLean, who's from Spokane, gearing up for a historic mission. Together with fellow astronaut Christina Cook, McLean will carry the historic spacewalk to upgrade batteries installed last summer. And this afternoon, we'll hear from McLean about the groundbreaking mission.
This is a new era of spaceflight. It's important for a lot of people to look out and see someone that looks like them.
Well, McLean is entering her third month now aboard the International Space Station. Female controller Christine Facciole will provide ground support for the women from NASA's Johnson Space Center in Texas. And then Cook, who's from Michigan, she will join McLean next week at the space station. NASA says the all-female spacewalk is just a coincidence. It is the second of 3 planned spacewalks for the Expedition 59 crew.
Good luck to them. And yesterday, McLean received an important phone call from Earth from Vice President Mike Pence. Pence told McLean and astronaut David St. Jacques they said it was inspiring to see the SpaceX Crew Dragon launch. McLean said it was an honor and a privilege to be a part of the mission.
Mr. Vice President, it's an honor to speak with you this evening and to everyone else gathered there. I can tell you that witnessing the Dragon docking up here on the International Space Station, I think for both of us, for our whole crew, was a real honor. We feel very privileged to have been a part of it.
In other news, the President Donald Trump's former personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration, and he claims they owe him legal fees.
Cohen says he is owed roughly $1.9 million. He says he was paid fairly until he decided to cooperate with special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation.
He is done testifying on Capitol Hill now. Cohen provided the House Intelligence Committee with new documents showing edits to the false statements he delivered in 2017.
He was supposed to report to prison yesterday, but he was given a reprieve to testify before Congress, so he is now scheduled to go to prison in May.
Newly released search warrants reveal more about the alleged murder of Colorado mother Kelsey Barrett.
She has ties to the inland Northwest. The father of her child and her fiancé, Patrick Frazee, is charged with her murder. Police believe Frazee killed Barrett on Thanksgiving Day and then burned her body. Search warrants show police seized blood-stained sheets from her apartment along with 5 teeth. Police
believe several of Barrett's teeth were knocked out because Frazee hit her with a baseball bat. They also took more than 60 items from Frazee's home. Another search warrant details the premature birth of the couple's child, and Barrett's mother says that Frazee verbally abused nurses at that time, forcing them to call social services. Leaders with that agency interviewed Barrett to determine at the time if she was being abused by Frazee.
Frazee's former girlfriend, Crystal Lee Kenny, pleaded guilty to tampering with evidence in the case. She admitted to sending messages from Barrett's phone after her death, hoping to mislead police. She agreed to testify against Frazee. Frazee has not entered a plea. His arraignment is scheduled for April 8th.
Meantime, investigators are searching for Barrett's remains in a Colorado landfill. They've targeted a specific area at that site. They've been working at the landfill for the past 2 weeks now. The landfill is about 40 miles from Barrett's home.
In other news, pilots had to divert an Alaska Airlines flight from to the Spokane International Airport. It happened last night after a medical emergency. An Alaska spokesperson says Flight 738 was traveling from Seattle to Kansas City. The plane reached Wyoming before turning back to Spokane.
The plane made the emergency landing because one of the captains was not feeling well. The spokesperson said the pilot was able to perform his duties, but medical professionals advised him to make that emergency landing. The sick pilot later went to the hospital, and a pilot from Seattle flew in to replace him. The passengers were able to catch a later flight to their final destination.
Spokane native Steve Gleason is speaking out about an issue he recently had with an airline. Gleason was taking a family trip, and it almost didn't happen because he says employees were unwilling to accommodate his powered wheelchair. Gleason took to Twitter about the incident, saying, "Some of your ground crew acted rigidly as if I shouldn't fly." Gleason did give a shout out to one employee, Joseph Redhair, who he said was understanding of his needs.
He says Southwest Airlines needs to do more to help disabled passengers. The airline's customer service agents responded to Gleason's tweet, saying they certainly did not like hearing that any of their passengers experienced problems while flying.
Well, tomorrow is International Women's Day. In honor of that, a Women's Heritage Month, an all-women flight crew from Fairchild Air Force Base will be taking to the skies on a training mission to Seattle. So we'll introduce you to the ladies behind the mission. coming up on KREM 2 News at 5 tonight.
Also, if you are looking for a fun outing with friends this weekend, we have an idea that benefits a great cause. It is the 4th annual Matt's Place Foundation Pub Crawl. It's happening in Coeur d'Alene on Saturday. Now here's video of last year's pub crawl. Matt's Place helps local ALS patients and families maneuver the monumental struggles of the disease. And this year is supposed to be bigger and better.
There are 15 bars and restaurants in downtown Coeur d'Alene expected to participate. Pub crawl participants get their card stamped at each spot for a chance at prizes. There will also be live music.
The event is this Saturday, 3 to 9 p.m. Tickets are $25, again benefiting Matt's Place Foundation. You can buy those tickets online through the morning of the event or at the Coeur d'Alene Resort shops the day of the event.